questions I see in the group or some of the questions I get from my clients or in my membership site and my live Q&A, one of the things that has come up over and over and over again, and I see it in the groups as well. I have two groups. So the Interior Design Business Forum for interior designers and the Coaching Hotspot for coaches and consultants. What happens often is people get really hung up on, well, what are the industry standards? What are people charging? I want to be in the middle of the pack. And then it goes further to say, what are people paying their staff? What are they paying this role, administrative role, bookkeeping role? And for interior designers, what are they paying their designers? And when I tell you there is very little standard in the interior design industry or in the coaching industry, there is a wide array of right, and there's not a lot of wrong. The bottom line is, what do you want your business to be like? How much can you put out with staffing? How much do you want to charge to have the life that you want, right? That all depends on how many hours you want to work, what kind of clients you want to attract, where you're located in the world, right? Because I coach all over the world, any English-speaking country. So it's really hard when I get questions like, well, what's the standard? What are people paying? It's a range, right? Just like you often tell your clients, there's a range that you can spend. It's the same in almost every question. One of the questions I got, which I thought was great, but it's like, what is the industry standard for working with contractors? When I tell you, I have so many clients that each of them work with contractors differently. So when you're an interior designer working with a contractor, you can work with them in many different ways. When you're a coach working with different demographics, there's many ways you can work with people, right? There's membership sites, there's courses, there's one-on-one coaching, group coaching. In all of the industries that I coach, there are ranges and not necessarily standards. So I want to make sure that when you're asking questions of each other in the group and you're asking questions like, what's the standard? I want you to think, oh, okay, maybe I need to reword that and say, what do you do with contractors, or what do you do with your clients? As opposed to what's the standard? Because I have been in the interior design industry for, 25 years or so, and in the coaching industry for 6.5-ish. And there is really not a standard. There's just different practices for different people. So when you're trying to figure out what you want your company to look like and how much you may want to pay people who work for you, or how much you want to charge your clients for different services, I want you to sit down and go, what do I want my life to be like? How many days a week do I want to work? How much money do I want to make? Who's my ideal client, right? The demographic you're going after. What are they able to afford, and are they willing to pay for services that I provide? If so, maybe you need to add services, more deliverables to your service models. I always say to everyone, don't lower your prices. If you feel like your prices are high, don't lower your prices, add value. So what does everyone do for designers? What does everyone do during the design phase, right? I get a multitude of answers. What do you provide as deliverables at your consults? You're going to get a multitude of answers. How do you work with clients ongoing? Hourly, square footage, flat fee. It's really, the bottom line is, if you are running your company at a 40 to 60% profit margin, less clients, more money, it'll provide you with the life you're really looking for. So if you're hung up on the standards in your industry, be careful, because I want to take you out of always looking at others and really sitting down and looking at your own business and figuring out what's going to make you happy, what's going to make your clients satisfied, exemplary service for the right price that you need to make yourself happy and make yourself money and get the money for your worth that you deserve. So that's always the focus. So I just wanted to talk about the obsession with industry standards, because this is industry, for both the coaching industry and the interior design industry, there are not standards necessarily, there are ranges. And some people will present it like this is the standard and this is the way it has to be done because that's the way they've always done it for years. But that doesn't mean that that's going to work for you. So just be careful when you're taking advice from each other, which I love the fact that you give advice to each other. You should still look at it through the eyes of, that's great that that works for them and that's really exciting for them. Will that work for me? Is that something I feel good about, I can implement, I can sustain? Does that make sense for me and my business? So just a quick reminder today to don't get hung up on that, the standards of your industry. Get really deep into what you want your business to look like. And that will kind of clear the path for your brain to sit and think. This is not something that you can sit down sometimes and do in an hour. It's something that evolves over time. What are your standards for your company? I hope that helps somebody today. So don't just jump onto someone else's bandwagon of how they charge, how much they pay their employees, how they do everything. Get the information, absorb it, think, does this make sense for me and my company, my location, my clients? And then make your own decisions. Okay. Everyone is different. Everyone's business is different. And I don't want you just doing a cookie cutter of somebody else's and then coming to me and going, well, that didn't work. Right. Because you didn't take time to think. Thinking is actually something in this day and age that a lot of us feel like we don't have time to do it. Hi, Betsy. Right? We don't have time to sit and just think. So we're always trying to grab a template, grab a this, grab a that. Let's just do it. I'm going to do it like that person's doing it. And you never really sat down and went, does this work for me? Okay. So take the time to think. There's actually a book I've been reading on and off. It's called Thinking on Purpose. And it really points out the fact that we don't take enough time to just sit with our own thoughts. Okay. I took a walk yesterday, no iPod, nothing in my ear, no music, no nothing. And I just was able to think. And it's interesting what comes up when you actually silence the noise of this society and of your family and your friends and everything else and just go, what do I feel like trying to resolve today? And let me just give it some time and think. All right. So that's everyone's task. Go think about something that is an obstacle for you and calmly figure out what your direction should be and what you want to do for yourself. Betsy, you're saying in some ways, I think it would be good if there were industry standards. Yes and no. You know, it's like, it's a catch-22, Betsy, right? If there were industry standards where every single designer, as you're an interior designer, because I'm streaming everywhere, so I'm just being clear. If everyone charged, I'm going to say $150 an hour, and everyone charged with the design fee and then a project management fee and full service, full price on furnishings, and everyone uses the same margin on all their furnishings, no matter where they are, the one thing that still distinguishes you is your personality, your design style, your talent, your speed. Someone will still be attracted to you, but this is competition, right? This is the way the world works. People do it different ways, and that's part of what makes you different also, right? The fact that you can walk around and sketch as you walk, right? And do a design plan for somebody on the fly. That's a skill that other people can't do, right? But you're right, just for some things and not for others. And I get that. It would make it simpler, but there's very few industries that are standard. I mean, even if you hire a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant, their pricing is all different. Their deliverables are all different. The way they run their businesses are all different, right? So standards in any industry is somewhat unusual, right? It would be nice to have a little bit more standardization, but I think we're getting there. Like, for example, a paid consult is becoming more of the standard for middle level jobs, right? Still very, very high-end jobs. Some people don't charge for the consult. They're doing a meet and greet. And I get that, right? So it depends a lot on the type of business you have. So Anyway, I hope that helps somebody today and that you do some thinking, right? That's what I'm here for. And don't forget to go into the business building boutique that I created. There's a ton of free advice in there. There's also paid products, of course, but we are loading in so many free complimentary templates, lessons, things that you can do to help you figure this stuff out. So I put the link in the description, hop in there. And if you need me, you can get me from there also with the Talk to Nancy product. All right. So you're at 550 for initial design minute because of your coaching. Okay. I'm posting that one up here. Woohoo, Betsy. That's awesome. I haven't talked to you in a while about how much you're charging now, but think about that, right? For those of you who are charging 150 or 200 for the initial consultation, that might be still okay for you, but where Betsy is located in the world, in New York, and the type of clients that she's bringing on at this point, she can get $550 for her initial consultation. And that is something that we had figured out together, although we were not this high when you ended coaching with me. So I'm so proud of you. It is important that Betsy understands her client, what she can get for her services, and she's doing it, right? So as you raise your rates, you test the waters. You might lose some, you might gain some, but you might go, you know what, this is the right rate because this is what allows me to do less clients, more money, and actually have a life, right? We don't want to not have a life. We don't want to work 7 days a week. That's never the goal. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to hop off now, but this is my Thursday Thoughts. It's about standards. I came up in my live monthly membership site Q&A. So I go live for anyone who's a member of my membership site, which is $97 a month. They also get me once a month live with questions they ask in advance. And for some reason, it was all about standard. What's the standard for this? What's the standard for that? And almost every answer was, well, there's not a standard, but let me tell you what I've seen, what the range is. Now we have to decide where you fall in that range for almost everything that was asked. All right. I will see you next Thursday for Thursday Thoughts. All right. Bye, everyone.